5:37 Radio 1 FM, the Saturday Sequence. I'm Roger Scott, and this is Aerosmith. This dude looks like a lady from the 1987 Aerosmith album, Permanent Vacation. 1987 was an extraordinary year for this band because they've probably been told by many people, yeah, you've had your day, you were great, but move over because there's some new guys coming up. And yet the success of that album was extraordinary. What do you put it down to? I've got Stephen and Joe here. Was it hit singles? Was it reinventing this band? Was it a new attitude? Was it what?
Well, that type of stuff we did hear in a few interviews, but it was around 79, 80. It was when the surgence of the new music had come in. And we took a little time off. Joe left the band. I got in an accident with my foot. We broke up. We were crawling out of a pit. But, you know, I get this feeling that people don't ever get to see what's going on unless they hit their bottom. And so that we did. And we got a chance to regroup, reform, and also letting go of the drugs and the bad habits that helped pull us into the pit. Brought us right back up to where we were before. In fact, I think with this new album, we're going to whiz by it. I got my fingers crossed.
We've always been, stuck with that stuff about, in 1976, people were saying, well, disco's here and rock and roll's over, as we were, walking out on stage at Madison Square Garden to sold-out crowds, So we've been hearing that stuff all along. I think the pressure was from us to reinvent the band. That's a good way to say it, because that's what we did. We restructured how we write songs and our whole thinking, because that's what, we tried done with Mirrors, and it wasn't happening.
Tell me about this new one, because this one sounds like it picks up where Permanent Vacation left off. It is even more of the same, right? It's double the amount that was on that Permanent Vacation. We'll play this opening track, Young Lust, and people will hear what we mean. Writing these songs and doing these, it sounds like you had such great fun doing this.
We did. As a matter of fact, Young Lust had not been written until the 11th hour. Joe Perry said, wait a minute, there isn't something that we've always had on every album. On this album, we got to have it. So we went up to Jim Valence's house and wrote Young Lust. It's the kind of album that we're getting down our time slots to rehearse. So we rehearse for 4 months and write stuff. We go in every day for a couple hours and we just have a tape running. So we take the best of all that. And then it took us 3 months to record the album. So we had an overabundance of songs again. We had 26 songs. We recorded 14, 16 songs, and this time we whittled back with a different knife. This knife was let's put on this album what we want to play live. So it gave it a new flavor. Plus, we met a guy up there named Randy Rain Rouge, who collects instruments from all over the world, and before we went into this album, I wrote a wish list of everything I thought that I never heard on any other album that I'd like to hear on this one. And oddly enough, this guy comes along with all these weird instruments. So we went up to his house. We picked out all the weird ones that surpassed any list I ever had. He came down to the studio, and we all played them. He played the didgeridoo from Australia and the can from East Asia. And we fused the album together with all the fun with a little bit of nutsness, and voila, pump.
Okay, let me demonstrate now. I'll just play this Dulcimer Stomp, this short track that opens side 2, and then we're going to Young Lust. So here's Aerosmith and Dulcimer Stomp. Aerosmith, Dulcimer Stomp, and Young Lust, opening track on their new album, which is called Pump. What's it like on the road with this band now in 1989 as opposed to 10, 15 years ago when it was a non-stop party? Well, I'm sure you can't remember what it was like 10, 15 years ago. But what is it like now? Are you renowned for your early nights?
Oh, man, we get all this stuff about the drug addict and that, yeah, we were. And yeah, we do take it serious. We take it serious so we can wake up tomorrow morning without being sick again. But the press goes on and on and on about it. And I think that if you really look at it, it's just we're still a bunch of alcoholics and we're still a bunch of drug addicts without the drugs. So, yeah, the hooping and hollering goes on. Only this time when I wake up in the morning, I remember what I did the night before.
Was there a little dangerous going out with Guns N' Roses on that big tour you did?
And dangerous? Well, you just have to watch out for flying chairs once in a while, I remember what it was like when I had my first beer. It was fun. Watching those guys go through, watching the success climb, and it was a great show. It was like one of the few bands I really liked of the new pile of bands, you know, and having them come out on the road with us was great. But as far as that other stuff goes, you know, I mean, everybody was saying, well, you can't bring them out with you. They're gonna drag you down. We're in a different place than that. It's not like if somebody walks by with a bottle of Jack Daniels, it's gonna we're gonna fall off the wagon. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're not on the wagon. We're driving a Lamborghini. It's a different mindset than I guess you would think of. You know, it's not something that we have to worry about.
You must see yourselves in them.
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah,
big time. I mean, it's like in this world of right and wrong, right? Their melody lines are right. Their singing is right. You know, the band is right. Their attitude is wrong, and all the press about them is wrong. So it works perfect. The kids love them. It's like the same mold that we came out of. So it was a good thing to see that. You know, it was a real good thing to see that and tour with them.
and we hope we'll be seeing more of them.
Yeah.
I take it you'll be going to see the Stones on this tour at some point. Is this a good idea, you reckon, for the Stones to be out there doing it again? Or?
Sure, because, you know, people asked us, what are we going to be doing when we're 30 years old? And it's like, look how many kids are there in the beginning. When I'm 30, they're 30. They're certainly going to still want to rock and roll. And the Stones are selling out everywhere. The Stones are the Stones. And I think it's up to each one of us to decide whether our knees are going to give out in the middle of the show and get a bed. But I think Mick still got
Better our
it.
knees than our heads.
I think Mick still got it, you know.
Okay, take me on to this, the first single. Going down, Mr. Perry? Yes.
Well,
No, it just made me smile when it came on.
I love it. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, that you hear it, you put it down, you say, yeah, let it fly, who cares? It was a funny thing.
that's all. It's like how many ways can you play an E chord? You know what I mean? It's like you want to just throw a few things on there. It made us laugh. You know, the first time we did it and the last time I heard it, it still does. So that's all. It's just fun.
Elevator, Aerosmith, from their album Pump. This song, Janie's Got a Gun, which has got a sort of 8 miles high type guitar solo in it.
I guess it does, huh? I never thought of it that way, but...
Have you heard that? I heard that and I thought, oh yeah, 8
That's
miles high.
great. I love that. That's a great album, man. No, you know, that's been skimmed over. I mean, we were just talking the other day about Roots again and what, you know, the groups that we just gave no credit to or just kind of skimmed over. One was the original Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy that's growing his nails up here. I said, geez, Joe, let's go find him, man. What's his name?
Peter Green.
Peter Green, man. I mean, that was the song that I went, when I left all my other bands and went and met Joe and Tom up in New Hampshire, that made me say, all the stuff that I learned in the last 8 years, I'm putting it aside. This is it.
Oh well.
No, it was Rattlesnake Shake.
Oh.
Well, see, Stephen was like more tied into like the pop end of it, you know, playing songs, the Beatles stuff, and like that kind of like really structured things. And what I was doing was like I was like deeply into Fleetwood Mac and the blues, and listening to like all the rejuvenated blues that the English bands were doing, and it was, you know, the real rock and roll that I heard. And you know, when Stephen and I got together, it was like kind of a marriage of that. The pop, you know, structure, the harmonies and the melodies and stuff with just, you know, thrashing, you know what I mean? Thrashing with a little soul, not just the speed metal that we know today, you know. Fleetwood Mac, for me, was they were a band that used to play in Boston about every 3 months, you know, for nights at a time, and I would go and see them all the time. And, you know, that was a real important band in my forming of what music should be, you know.
I was talking about with Don Henley the other day, and he was saying, we were talking about the young rock bands coming out of America, that they don't have the blues element. The blues element seems to have gone out of them somehow. It seems to have been...
Again, it's like people ask us all the time, well, where'd you get this from and that from? We're like channels. You know, you get it all from what you listen to, and your brain will absorb what it likes. Whatever you've been through in your life, whatever sticks to you, you know, will come out in your music. It's like you can't hide it, especially if, you know, if you're open to it and you take the boulders and rocks out of your head and you let that stuff flow through. You know, you become like a channel. So the blues for us is just like whatever you've listened to in the past. And in the past for us, old war horses. We're talking about, you know, a lot of blues, especially in the States, you know. And oddly enough, our favorite stuff that came out first before we were a band was adapted from English, taking the blues from American. And here we were taking a feel from the English and coming to find out that it was always there anyway. So it's a weird thing, but again, it's just called pass it on, right?
Yeah. I was saying, let's play this track, this Janie's Got a Gun. We got off the track there, saying 8 Miles High guitar sound on it. But the story on the song, where was that from?
Well, the story on the song was Stephen walked into rehearsal one day with this demo tape of something he stayed up late doing, and it was like, he was supposed to be working on the lyrics to some other song, and he goes, oh, here's a brand new song, you know what I mean? And he sits down and he plays it, and here it is, and it's like, it was like that. That was all. That's the story on the song. Now, where did the story come from?
Some lyrics that I was supposed to be doing. They throw me in the cellar and say, write some lyrics, right? So I get sick and tired of hearing them tell me what to do, so I said, the hell with it, and I started writing something else. No, I got this brand new Korg electric piano, synthesizer, and I just plugged it in. I got myself an effect box, and I was going through these 99 presets, picking out all kinds of weird things, and again, the music talks to me, and I found this one particular slap bass preset, and I just started do. Tom Hamilton wrote the front of it, and I started singing Janie Got a Gun, and with nothing in mind about why she had a gun or child abuse or anything. It just built into that.